All right. On this week's episode of the Mental Edge Podcast, your hosts,
Fernando Lopez Jr.
and Jay Casey, get to talking about
Freedom or Freedumb.
All right, so the video.
So now you know.
Yeah,
Now
and
you
it
know.
helps me, but it also will probably help the computer because I struggled a little bit because the video camera quit.
Yeah.
The one when I put a new card in
when
there.
it came out.
Yeah, it was it just took more. It was more laborious.
Laborious. Cool.
So, but it's
kind of like
still turned out great.
your son, right? Or trying to clean his room.
Yeah,
Laborious.
He's in there.
Did I use that right?
You did use it right.
All right,
You
'cause
did. I
I'm learning
wonder
a new
how
one.
laborious it was with my large broom pushing everything under his bed.
My favorite part was like, you cleaned your room. Yeah, Dad, I cleaned my room. Come check it out. All right. And what'd you say?
I said, good, I'm going to start by looking under your bed. What's under my bed? Is what my daddy said.
Wait, Dad. He got tongue-tied.
Might find the Ark and the Covenant under there.
Yeah.
The Ten Commandments. Who knows what's under there?
I love that, man. Yeah.
that's pretty
I bet you he wishes he had the freedom to leave his room the way it is.
Gosh, but okay, now let's think about this. Like,
All right.
so that's so good, right? And that was unintended.
Right.
Junior, this is a nugget. Junior just pulled out of the mental edge sky.
Yeah.
Here's the deal. Writer could have more freedom
Oh,
if he took care of his bedroom
Yeah.
on a regular basis.
Yeah.
But instead, he's overwhelmed by the concept of cleaning it to the point where he fakes it, and he's not good at faking.
that was great, man.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Right?
I just
So-
noticed you did something to my chair. So my chair is no longer facing you. My chair is facing the camera.
Yeah, well, I want people to see all of you.
Yeah.
I don't like your tricep is intimidating my right leg. Here's the thing about my friend Fernando. I like to call him Hombre Fuerte.
And that just means he's like really strong.
I don't like
let me
it.
turn this way.
I don't like it, man.
That was good
Get
stuff,
it,
man.
dude.
Yeah. So that's what we're talking about today, man.
Yeah, we are. We're talking
Not
about
writer's freedom,
Yeah,
our freedom.
that's right. And before we get started, I just want to say that my name is Jay Casey,
I'm Fernando Lopez Jr.,
and this is
the Mental Edge Podcast.
I don't know. We'll throw something here. I don't know. We'll throw something.
Secondary
here.
guidance
We'll switch it up
systems
a little bit there when it
engaged.
comes to that, but we are real close, Junior, to launching a couple episodes on the YouTube channel. Did you get? I forgot to ask you this, and I don't want to get too sidetracked, but I sent you some administrative rights via email.
Yeah, I got them.
Okay.
I just didn't know what to do with them.
I don't
so
know. I just figured
yeah,
that you're
I
the
just
graphics
I put them
guy.
in an archive folder, and I was like,
Dude.
Jay's gonna let me know what to do.
Yeah, I just know that when it comes time to make the banner of
Yeah.
the channel banner, and
Yeah. I would knock that out. That's
I
gonna
know
be
you
good.
will. I've never not been impressed.
It's
by
gonna
you.
be good stuff.
I know it's awesome stuff, man.
So do we get to pick like the little picture that people see before they click the video?
No, so that's called a thumbnail.
The thumbnail.
And that we have to do for every video. We can upload a custom thumbnail, which ours will probably be typically the same, except for the title will be different.
I don't think it has to be though. Every time we're here, we could just take a goofy picture.
Oh man,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Yeah.
that's somehow visually representative of the topic.
Yeah. This is how creativity happens, folks. You're witnessing line. We use it and we get going, and we take our freedom of doing so very seriously.
We do, man. And, sometimes you got to be the constructor of your own freedom, and it doesn't initially look like freedom when you're constructing it.
No.
And I think that's what we're going to get into.
Yeah.
I love what you have for us too today, Junior. And so let's talk about what it means to be free. We set it up a little bit by talking about truth, which is essential. Unless you embrace truth, you'll never find real freedom.
No.
Because it usually starts with an honest assessment of what's going on with you.
Yeah.
Anything less than that is fake freedom, and there's plenty of fake freedom going around.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah. A whole lot of.
A whole lot of. I looked up. I like to look up what Webster's dictionary thinks freedom is, and there were a couple of definitions that stuck out to me, and one of them I think is right up the alley of the concept of freedom being spun, for lack of a better term, or or warped or twisted. Twisted is the right word.
Yeah.
But the first one is the state of not being imprisoned or enslaved, which is perfect. It goes right into what we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
And the second one was the power or right
Yeah.
to act, speak, or think as one wants without hindrance or restraint.
Love that, man.
Wow.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Jeez, oh, peace. Like, don't run in the hallway. Certainly, there's some rules like that. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, I love what you do. I'm not square, guys.
Yeah.
I'm far from square. Like,
Right.
I'm on the verge of getting kicked out the church that loves me. Just kidding.
Yeah,
I mean, they love me.
yeah.
But what I'm saying is I'm still a dude.
Right.
Okay? So I'm not all about following every rule, but I love the good rules. I want to embrace them. I
Yeah.
want them to be a part of my life because I see value of them, and none of them typically provide a quick result. Have you ever noticed that?
Oh man, that's deep. That's deep. Yeah.
They all require investment
Yeah. And
for
time.
freedom
Yeah.
at a later date. Real freedom,
Yeah.
not fake freedom.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So,
Yeah, you got to definitely dive into that later.
yeah, we're going to get there, guys.
that.
We're going to talk about what it means to be in bondage. We use that word a little bit more than we should, maybe. I don't know, but it just seems to be such a modern day relevant term when I look at some of my friends and some of my constituents, whatever you want to say. I just see them sometimes living a life that just isn't a good representation of their potential.
Right. Right.
And then I don't really see progress for them, and it's a fraction of what they deserve, what they're living, and when they look back, I want you to know that a lot of it's in your own power, your own control.
Yeah, you are the navigator of your
Yeah,
life.
you're the captain,
you know?
man.
Yeah, and I think like one of the things that we do look for, like you said, is freedom. Because who wants to be shackled, right?
Yeah.
Or in prison, right? Yet many of us fail to realize that we are shackled or in prison mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and I mean it's not an actual prison,
Right.
but
Yeah,
but
it's
that's
great. Mm-hmm.
the kind of stuff that we're talking about in this podcast is like what's happening on the inside, fellas. Yeah,
Think
so
about the people that are investing in a bad relationship, Junior. It's slavery. It's slavery.
It is.
It's modern day emotional slavery.
Yeah.
Okay. Bondage.
Yeah.
The people that worship something other than Jesus and it never gives back to them, even though it seems like it gives back to them in the beginning. Right. It's how they go deeper enslaved.
Yeah.
Right. So.
That's true.
I mean, like you said, mental, spiritual, physical,
Yep.
financial. We're going to talk
Emotionally.
about a little bit.
Yep.
Emotional.
Yeah.
There's just
Yeah.
so many ways.
Freedom
that-
of your mind.
not embracing discipline.
Yeah.
It feels like freedom in the beginning, but it's a trick.
Yeah.
It's not real freedom. So
Right.
here's something I wanted to say, but that last statement, the power or the right to act or to speak or to think as one wants without any hindrance or restraint, that last statement I truly believe is completely misleading. The problem with it is it's so vague, it's written like a modern contract book.
Yeah.
You're going to need attorneys later on to explain to you, oh no, that's not what we were talking about. I'm so sorry, but you can't park your car in the store. You have to park it outside the store.
Outside, yeah.
I know you feel like you want to because it's cold.
Right.
Right? So it's just vague enough to be twisted. And it almost supports that notion that seems to be embraced right now, that lawlessness is a form of freedom. And you had something to say about lawlessness.
Credit to Pastor Combs because he was teaching about lawlessness, and he said, if I'm not mistaken, that in Hebrew translation, lawlessness actually means wickedness. 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 Wickedness.
Wickedness.
Evil.
Oh, God.
Isn't that crazy?
Well, how does
especially
it make
the
you feel?
state of like what we're going through in the United States right now.
when you just see there simply isn't enough policing power
Right.
to handle the rogueness of a lot of America.
Or even if there is the policing power, they're not allowed to enforce it.
They can't, right?
Right.
I agree.
Yeah.
You're right. That's even better.
Yeah.
Even when they could,
Yeah.
they can't.
Right.
They're
You
being
know,
told
yeah.
not to. They're being told it's
Right.
better just to leave it alone right now.
Yeah,
And
leave it alone.
As somebody's sweater store is burning to the ground that their family worked for their whole life.
Oh, I'm an entrepreneur, so it holds a special place in my heart where I see, I have at least 12 to 15 friends whose stores they're never going to be around again. They're gone forever.
Gone forever.
Some have been around 20, 25 years, and they're just they didn't survive because
Man,
of
Junior.
the whole COVID thing and not being able to, I feel bad for them. Then these are people that are living out their passions and the things that they love, and that freedom to live doing what they love to do is gone.
There is
them.
no successful entrepreneur that hasn't put themselves out there and sacrifice for their family for an investment in the future, and then watch it, economically, and most of those people economically, that's probably not the only problem, right?
No
doubt about
but
it.
I get what you were saying, and for me, it holds a special place in my heart for people that are.
Oh, I can't imagine when you watch. First of all, people are like, well, here's the deal, guys. Watch a couple of those freaking video clips. And I can't even watch them anymore. How does it make you feel? I tell you, it literally it gives me a sense of hopelessness a little bit, and frustration and fear. So nothing about those three emotions, nothing about them make me feel free.
No. And we talked about what was it, 3,000 words describing emotion, and
2,000 of them are negative. I'll never forget that when you said that. It was mind-boggling.
Yeah, so it's like that right now.
So I don't know about you, Junior, but it's something I want you to bounce off of here. But I've come to realize in my elder age here, I'm 40, great. Okay, almost 40, great. That I've learned to appreciate good rules and discipline as routes to real freedom. Now, this is not a place that I would have ever imagined myself in my 20s. I would have much rather just stayed up until 4 a.m. And slept till 2 every day. It felt like real freedom.
No goals.
Right? No goals.
Live day to day.
The life, then you're so invincible feeling your skin, your face. You don't look like 40 miles of rough road. You're living, you're eating Taco Hell all the time.
Welcome to Taco Bell. Can I take your order?
I'll take the cat burrito special with an extra side of barf sauce and a Diet Coke.
All right, one edible, regrettable special coming up.
And there's no effect on you, right? But I want you to know that there's a way that you're able to play catch with your grandkids at 70.
Yeah.
Or there's a way that you're in a wheelchair. And I know there's other ways, but I'm just saying metaphorically, the way you invest in yourself is a route to freedom.
Oh, yeah.
So I have come to love those things. And I know a lot of them when I was younger wouldn't have made sense to me. I would refer to people who are embracing that type of stuff as the inevitably enslaved. Ain't going nowhere fast except downhill, which seems like fun. Have you ever gone downhill, Junior?
Oh, yeah.
Until you have to climb again.
Until you have to go back up. I think you told a story of going down on a sled. And what happened at the end?
At the bottom, it was at Joey Ando's house.
Okay.
He had a house by the river. And he had a house down by the river.
Right.
And I rolled over, and then, those old sleds that are steel that you can steer?
Yeah.
This dude drove it right in my bunghole. He drove the point.
That was it.
Right in my bunghole, man.
Yeah.
I swear to God, he almost split me in half, Junior. He almost fajayed me. It was crazy, so bad, dude. Man, so bad.
Yeah. All right. So
I totally understand people embracing what's going on when they were younger. I get it. I mean, there's this opportunity right now to get away with looting. Oh my God, because it just can't. It not only is it hard to police, but and guys, we could be coming up on it again.
Really?
Who knows?
I quit watching the news.
Well, did you watch the first debate? There's inevitably going to be, no matter which way it goes.
I didn't watch it. I just kind of.
Jesus, Lord help us.
I saw the clips, and I'm thinking to myself, we're in trouble.
Yeah, I personally felt like it was an exact metaphor for the way we talk to each other. People were frustrated by it and thought of it. I'm like, well, what did you expect?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, have you watched? It's it's a slice of what we've been seeing on video for the last 3 months.
When you were talking about freedom, right? And I mentioned like the mind, like our natural state in our mind is born free. Okay.
Yeah, it's where we belong, right?
Yeah, but in so many cases, people let their consciousness be taken over by other individual or group thinking. Okay, and they got a term for that. And it's called group mind.
Group mind.
Group mind, yeah. So an example of what I mean by like letting things invade your consciousness that's born free, right? Would be the example of like television, right? So if you're watching TV and you leave the sound on, but you go into the next room, right? And you leave the sound on.
Yeah.
You just let it continue to play. You just left, but that sound, whatever it is still invading your consciousness. So you're letting that sound play over and over and over again. Will eventually have you thinking like what you're listening to.
Wow.
Okay. Another example of that would be like a restaurant jingle, right? So for, maybe a week later goes by, you listen to that little jingle, it played over and over, for whatever reason for that restaurant, and that commercial played. You're actually doing the work of the branding for that commercial when you're like outside singing it in the car or, by your kids or, dun, 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 dun. Whatever it is. Yeah. So like you might like that particular restaurant and don't mind promoting it, but that's not the question. The question is that what you really want to be doing?
Once more with feeling.
Is that what you really want to be doing?
Do you have better things to do than like promote the jingle?
Somebody else's endeavor. Promote somebody subconsciously.
You don't even realize what's happening in your own mind, right? Yeah. So it's taking up space. Mm-hmm. It's taking up space that could be used for other things, for your passions, for your love, for your freedom, for the things that you want to be doing,
That's so cool, Junior.
Yeah. So, like I said, your mind in its natural state is peaceful and luminous. And it's only like external inputs, okay? External conditions that interrupt that peace and joy, okay? So choose wisely what you feed it. All right, fellas, choose wisely what you feed
what
it.
you consume mentally.
Yeah, because so many of us are unconsciously letting things override our peace.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So you have the opportunity for peace, and I told you, I think we told a little story, I can't remember when, on one of the episodes where like you have 20 or 30 things going on in your brain, right? And I've been working at it where I'll just sit at my desk and I'll close my eyes
that's a great
and
story.
focus on what I need to be doing. And next thing you know, and I'll keep a pen. Now I keep a pen and a piece of paper handy right before I do it. So I'm intentionally doing this, and it allows me the freedom to like pick the level, is this going to be priority 1 or priority 5?
Sure. Yeah.
So I might throw up on the paper, I just write a bunch of stuff as it's coming to me. And then when I open my eyes back up, and look at the sheet, I'm like, all right, well, you know what? I could probably knock these 3 things out by the time I finish this one. You know what I mean? Like, so
I love it.
So that gives me the freedom, like the space in my mind, that peace. If I don't interrupt it with junk. So that's why I like the social media thing. I haven't been posting a lot. I haven't even really been on social media that much. A lot of the things that you see are things that were already done.
Okay.
Or
Amazing.
if I do
so you're not really creating a bunch of content. You're uploading what you've already got created.
Yes. So intentionally, like
great.
I'll have photos of friends and family, and I'll write notes on the photos. Mm-hmm. So, and or when I take the photo, it's most likely like just happened. More like I'm not really caring about putting the content out with agenda.
Oh,
You know,
Oh
I think
my
it's taking up
gosh.
too much.
You're not
Yeah.
trying to be an influencer.
No,
like,
no,
I mean,
no.
don't get me wrong, guys.
Yeah.
There's some influence is good. I hope
Yeah.
you're watching this because you feel like it.
Yeah,
You know,
right.
with us, you're growing. I hope
Yeah,
so. But,
yeah. Well, that's
but,
the point of this of our
yes,
program and what we're doing.
absolutely.
But yeah, and for me, you know, I use social media, a lot of it, like I said before, is photo albums and you know, to talk about like all the great people in my life. I'd rather talk
Yeah.
about them and
I'd love to
showcase
brag
them.
about people that I
Yeah,
love. Yes,
yeah. So
I agree, man.
yeah.
It's funny you talk about freedom and content because today I was listening to a podcast on my way home, and it was Ed Millett, and he
Mm-hmm.
was talking. He had another guest on, and they were talking about freedom, and then I'm sorry, they were talking about the way they share content, and
Yeah.
they said, and this is something you've brought up before. It's funny how we're bringing up stuff, and I listen. I think we're the originators of it, and then
there's other people
But
are
then I'm
doing it.
also impressed. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, we're trying to think the same way, and I'm
Yeah.
impressed. But they were talking about people who are really good at what they do,
Mm-hmm.
yet they resort back to, since that doesn't get them as many likes, but the shot of their abs did.
Oh yeah.
They'll share the ad like the work that they're doing is so incredible, but they noticed it doesn't strike a chord with as many people.
Yeah.
So they upload something that sells them out a little
Yeah.
bit. And I ask you a question, guys. If you are a slave to your audience, are you free?
Yeah,
You're
that's
not
robbing
free.
your freedom. You know what I mean? If
Amen.
so I realized that, you know, trying to like organize a lot of that stuff that we're doing on social media, it actually takes a lot of freedom from me. And I really enjoy like doing my
Yeah.
own thing. You know what I
Yes.
mean? So maybe throwing up a post and not using hashtags.
Yeah,
You know,
right.
that stuff takes up, you know, it's kind of like picking out clothes every morning. Like, I think I read that like Bill Gates, which I thought was kind of genius, and I think I can't remember his name now, but Will Smith's son, Jaden Smith, they have the same shirt 50 times over and the same pair of pants 50
yeah, I've
times
read
over and the
this.
same shoes, and the reason they do that is because they don't really want to.
They don't waste that time.
Yeah,
either,
waste
Junior.
that time. So they get up and they know they're going to put that one shirt
Yes.
on. They got 50 more to go. The same, you know. So I think the thing I read, I think Jaden got it from like
His parents?
No, from the Microsoft guy. Like yeah.
Oh man.
That guy does the same
So
thing.
sorry.
But either
Steve
way,
Jobs.
one of those guys.
One of them.
So he says I don't want to waste my time. So he goes, I've been wearing this exact shirt and pants for 3 months. Meaning
Wow.
the same
Same style. I'm
color.
sure, believe me.
Same, it's not the same shirt.
He's got plenty of Kohl's cash.
Yes. right.
He's aight.
But I thought that was genius in a way because I'm like, dang, he doesn't even think about it.
They
He
don't
just
waste
grab
time
and go. Yeah.
On menial things.
Menial things.
They
Yeah.
don't.
I use that word like 7 times this week.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Thank you. I
man.
appreciate teaching
You're
me that
welcome,
word. I
man.
like that.
That's some interesting stuff, dude. And I think we're going to talk about like another pretty much very common everyday example of how you can be taught something,
Yeah.
right? And it can be law for you.
Yeah.
And just by since it had automatic feedback, you
Yeah.
respect it more. But the thing about the trick that's going on right now, guys, is your feedback will be 25 years from now if you're not careful.
Right.
So the old adage is, hey, don't touch the hot pan on the stove, right, Junior?
I remember that.
Like I told my kids that.
Yeah.
I'm sure my mom told me that.
Right.
And I want you to know, guys, that you are free to lick the hot pan on the stove all you want. Here we go.
The pan on the stove is so hot that I want to lick it. Yeah, I want to lick it.
Right.
But you're going to receive some stimulus when you do it that will influence you pretty immediately never to do it again.
Right.
At first, you don't know the truth.
Yeah.
Okay. You're like someone says, don't touch it. And you're like, you know it.
Yeah.
That blue pan looks delicious.
Yeah.
And I was warned, but then I learned firsthand. My tongue didn't know the truth. Okay.
Yeah.
But the truth set me free.
That's right.
Because
Yeah.
I ain't never going to lick that pan anymore. I'm free from the ramifications of such a stupid action because there was an immediate detrimental effect.
Right.
The rule, don't touch the pan, isn't robbing me of anything but pain.
Right.
Right? So here's the trick right now, guys, is we're constantly making little compromises that feel like moments of freedom. Okay? But they're not purchasing you this incredible inheritance of freedom that comes from not embracing the compromises, right? I mean, there's the part that I love is now that my tongue doesn't have to live through the pain of healing
Right.
and missing out on what I love, it experiences real freedom, freedom that's born out of understanding and respecting good rules that you inherit for the rest of your life. But Junior, I don't think people, I know I'm guilty of this.
Yeah.
I didn't always see it through to the benefit.
Okay.
Right? So I didn't always embrace the rule to the point where the rule counted for me in life. Right? So we can talk a little bit about money. Like I didn't save for the guitar
Right.
so that I could buy it stress-free. Instead, I was like, man, it's 90 days, same as cash, but I probably won't be able to pay it off in 90 days. So what is it? Oh yeah, 111% interest. I can do that. Yes, it's $6 a month for 107 years.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I want that Gibson, right?
Yeah.
So, but in the moment, it probably feels so free to go and get that guitar that I just can't afford yet. I could afford it.
Yeah.
If I were to wait and follow these rules and improve to myself, invest in myself, right? So that when I make the purchase, it's free and clear. But no, I'd much rather let Discover do it for me, right?
Yeah.
Or let the Guitar Center
Yeah.
credit card do it.
I sometimes feel like waiting gives a greater appreciation for what you're trying to get or do.
Yes.
So because you implemented the discipline or the acts of discipline in those areas of your life, sure beats. It's kind of like, in one way, it's kind of like, sometimes with your own children, right? So you buy them a real expensive pair of shoes, right? You buy them like the newest or nicest pair of retro Jordans. You buy them like retro Jordans, right? And then you see your son out there kicking rocks and running through the puddles, and and you're like, dude, I just spent $180 on them shoes, right? So, but maybe you want to teach him a lesson or whatever. So I did this with Emmerich one time. I wanted him to appreciate. So he said, "Hey, I really want these shoes." I said, "Well, I really need the graphics taken off of this vehicle, right?" Wow. And I knew it was gonna be painstaking, and like it was outside. It was like 80 degrees. I mean, the graphic is coming off like an inch at a time. So he's sitting there. Every couple, maybe every hour, I'd go out and check up on him, and every once in a while, he'd come into the studio and wash his hands or use the bathroom, and I could tell he was sweating. He had like t-shirt, hoodie. By the time he comes out, or by the time I see him, he's like he had basketball shorts on and a t-shirt. So at the end, the prize, it was painstaking. He needed to work for it,
Yeah, what a great dad you are.
Yeah. And then at the end, I said, "Hey, the shoes were X amount of money. Here you go." So I gave him the money. I was like, "Hey, you want to go pick them up now?" He's like, "Yeah, let's go." So we went to the store, seen the shoes, and 8 months later, because they were like a white with like a red stripe on them.
Yeah.
The swoosh or whatever. And I'll never forget that shoe looked immaculate. 8 months later.
He earned it, buddy.
10 months later, a year later,
Wow.
And then the other stuff where he, he didn't quite work for it. So I feel like what you were talking about reminded me of that. It reminded me of like sometimes waiting for what and just patiently, calmly, steadfastly, whatever it is. And I thought that's a really good character trait too.
Yeah, it is such a good character trait, and I love all your stories with your kids.
I ran a real quick though. I told you my buddy, his name's Ralphie Rivera. He's helping me
Yes.
at the house, and we were talking about his house, and he goes, "Man, I bought my house for X amount." He's almost done paying it off, and I'm like, "Oh, that's awesome." I go, "You ever refinance?" He's like, "Nope." He goes, every doubt. He goes, I had never borrowed a dime other than to purchase the house. Everything that I've done to the house, every rehab, he goes, I done myself.
Man.
And I'm like, man, so
man's
that's
man
why when
right
he
there.
walks when I walk in the house with him and he's like, see that door? I hung it. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. See those floors? I put those down. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The other day, he goes, last week, he's in the room. He's like, I got to take all this trim off, paint this place, and put the trim back on. And I go, why? It's like done. He goes, those corners, they got kind of a little bit of a gap, and I'm way better now.
See the pride?
Yeah, ain't that cool?
See the pride?
So I go in
Love it.
today.
The healthy pride, by the way.
Yeah. And I go in today, and he's like, and we're walking into that room. He goes, hey, I did all the trimming, and first thing I did is I made
Look at
sure
that.
I mentioned. I go, yep, no
Dude,
gaps. It
that
looks great.
corner.
Yeah, it looks perfect. So that he was really happy, and there's a freedom in all those things that he talked about.
Yeah, there is a freedom, and there's development.
Yeah, yes.
And then there's freedom in the development. You see how it reciprocally works? And that's what we're getting at, guys. When we keep talking about this stuff, they're all weaved together. They're all about this transformation. I love what you shared about freedom, Junior, and about things like getting rid of things. And, you know, I just want to say this, and I'm not going to go into great detail, but for Missy and I, some of the COVID advantages, through being able to tap into some different accounts that you weren't normally able to, we were able to eradicate, because of God, some stuff that was hanging over us. And I kind of get chills when I think about it, because it would not have been possible, and it's just such a blessing, even though it's in the middle of a stupid, scary time. And that's how God is.
In the midst of the storm, right?
In the midst of the storm,
He walked
comes
on water.
A delivery that wouldn't have been possible. Yeah, there you go. He wasn't scared.
Yeah, he was scared.
He's like, man, what are you talking about? Get out the boat. Come walk with me. But here's what happened on the back end is that through that little deliverance, and it's not humongous, but it is humongous because I don't know what it was going to become had it not been taken care of through a blessing. But it's funny that I thought I had all this room to love my wife and to love my God.
Yeah.
This is what crazy, guys, is that the moment it was eradicated, the moment I felt some freedom that I just can't even express to you.
Yeah.
And an appreciation for this status of freedom.
Yeah.
That I'm at the perfect age where I can respect it, where I don't feel like I need another car. I feel like things aren't important to me right now. I feel like being able to bless other people and being a blessing in general it's not a coincidence, Junior. And it's funny how you can feel free while you're swiping a card, or feel free while you're sleeping in bed, or feel free when you decide not to go to little Johnny's birthday party because it's my time, Yeah. But there will come a day, Junior, that those little investments will afford you freedom and the lack of stress that you never imagined possible. And it's a phenomenon. I can't even fully explain it.
Yeah.
But I feel it. It's almost like I'm still in discovery mode. And nothing's perfect, I'm not saying that everything's perfect financially in my life. We've got kids that went to private college. But a route where there was no route,
Opened up, huh?
was made and recognized and embraced and opened up this freedom.
Yeah.
That I didn't even know I didn't have.
Right.
We talk about getting to, a certain level and thinking that the level was what you wanted. And when you get to the level, that's when you see the promise.
Yeah.
You're like, your mind's blown.
Yeah. Mind blown. That's awesome, man.
To me, that was probably one of the most important points I wanted to make today, Junior.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's still a few more things to talk about.
Yeah. Yeah. That was awesome. When you were talking, something was downloaded into my mind.
I love it.
Yeah. And you were talking about freedom in relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm freestyling here, so
I'm freestyling here. So.
If it doesn't come out correctly, I'm going to try to explain it the best I can. But I'm in a relationship, right?
Yeah.
With a beautiful woman, and we want to experience freedom in our relationship.
Yes.
Right. And you said something when you were telling your story, we decided to not have sex, right? So
Right. In the modern world,
Yeah,
with
and
two literally beautiful people,
and
it's mind-boggling.
we were both married before.
Proud of you.
Right? So, you know, I'm not saying I don't want to have sex. I'm saying that we want a certain type of freedom
Yeah.
that's only going to come by counting this cost.
Right,
And the cost
right.
is currently, don't have sex with this woman, right? This gorgeous woman.
This is right on point,
yeah,
dude.
Yeah. And so when you were talking, I'm like, you know, I also want to put it out there because it holds me accountable.
Yeah.
Do you know
It
what
sure
I'm saying?
does, man.
Yeah. I don't have to explain anything to anybody, but like for me,
No, you
know,
don't.
Yeah, it holds me accountable. And if I want to make this relationship right and I want to do it the right way,
Yeah.
then I have to go through certain disciplines and certain actions and
Yeah.
and do certain things in my life, right? So, and that's I did think about that, and I was like, man, like this is beautiful. Just hearing you talk just encouraged me and made me feel a lot stronger and better about what I'm doing because I know that I'm taking the proper steps for freedom,
Yeah.
right? Because I don't have the bondage of, you know, premarital sex and like my mind being cloudy, and like the things that I want to do are more clear.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
And
exactly.
I feel more
It's so
free.
true. Oh my
I feel
gosh.
more free. So because of I just wanted to just
That is
touch
a
on that.
perfect example,
Yeah.
Junior, of discipline
Yeah.
that is going to pay a dividend for your relationship in the future.
Yeah. Because in a world where it's hard to trust, imagine if I was having sex with her with no type of commitment, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so we're just going out, and I'm like having sex with her, and then I'm like, okay, I wanna get married, and then I decide that we get married, and how is she gonna feel about me when I leave the house? Will she trust me when I'm running around and or will I trust her because is he having sex with other non-committed people? You know, stuff
I
like
mean,
that. Yeah, you
right,
know,
guys, it's
so it's like taking
makes
a-
sense,
Yeah,
Junior.
taking it to
Tremendous
another level.
sense.
So yeah, and then I did want to end with a few questions for you.
Oh, yeah. Please.
All right. So, yeah. So,
Hammer 'em up.
and this is about a perfect day,
Okay.
which would involve probably a lot of freedom,
Yeah.
right? So, question number 1: where in the world would you like to wake up? How would you like to spend your time? Who would you like to spend your time with? What would that day look like, sound like, smell like, and feel like? Okay. Those are all rhetorical questions because as I've asked those questions to various people throughout my life, I realize that like 99% of people can never answer it. Most people have never thought of what their perfect day looks like. I mean, you ever thought about any of those things that I asked?
I knew when you asked me, I was struggled to even answer them. You
The
know,
first
like,
time
in the moment.
how about the first time I asked you?
The first time you
Off air.
answered, I was like, I'm like, is he
What
going to ask
does
me this?
that look like?
Honestly,
Yeah.
I struggle,
so,
dude.
Yeah. So freedom, you said the definition of freedom is the power to speak, act, and think the way one wants.
Yeah.
Right. I read a different definition, and it said freedom is doing what you love to do if what you love to do is what you ought to do.
that's so good.
Yeah, right.
You didn't tell me that one because you wanted it to shock me.
I wanted it to
dude.
shock you, yeah, because
Junior, that's
the
so
free,
good,
the
man.
freest people in the universe, fellas, are the people that do exactly what they want to do, and they're not gonna suffer in hell for it.
That's right, man.
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
so good. It's what they
So-
ought to do. It's their purpose.
Yeah, it's their purpose, right?
Yeah.
So, I think if I had to give any advice to anyone that wants to live a life of true freedom, is that you should fall out of love with what you don't like to do. Just to start
Fall
off,
out of
that's the
love
first
with what
thing
you don't like to do, man.
Yeah, so like if there's something that you really don't like to do, you know, and I had a whole thing talking. I'm not gonna go there, but about like even work freedom. All right, because I know we're running short on time now, but fall out of love with things that you don't like to do, you know, and go all in on your passion, right? Because if I've said this before, but if we go gambling at the boats, right, and you're really good at playing one card game, and I'm like, hey, dude, you got a chance to win $1 million on this table. Let's go to that table that table you don't know how to play, and let's go lose all your money there. What are you going to tell me? No, man, I'm doubling down over here.
Doubling down over here.
Yeah, I'm doubling down on what I know how to do and what I like to do and what I ought to be doing. And I just want to encourage you guys to fall out of love with the things that you don't want to do, and that'll give you you're one step closer to doing the things that you ought to be doing. And mental and freedom is close.
Awesome,
it's near.
Junior, I love it, and I want our listeners, men and women, to rebuke meaningless freedom.
Yeah.
Identify it
Yeah.
and rebuke it.
Yeah, no more
And
jingles.
That's right. Don't let those jingles. So you're a carrier of that.
We should definitely put jingle at this
disease.
moment.
Yeah, right. We're gonna throw in a jingle that you can't help but sing the rest of the day.
Yeah.
I think Susanna called them earworms one
Yeah.
time when we
Earworms.
did a little
Yep.
sexy time.
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
funny. The sexy time
Earworms.
song, right?
Yep.
During the sex episode, which go back and listen to that one. That one's fun. We had a lot of fun with the
it's a lot
talk,
of
and a
fun.
lot of
Yeah.
it, Junior kind of touched on the not trading in, because those moments in that we talk about that being special to you later, and they're supposed to get you through hard times.
Yeah.
But if you've given it all away, and you're done used to that milk, right? You're gonna get milk from that cow. Anyway, so my name is Jay Wakasey,
I'm Fernando Lopez Jr.
and this has been
The Mental Edge Podcast.
We Out. Well, all right, that'll just about wrap it up. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Mental Edge Podcast. Your host, Fernando Lopez Jr.
Oh, he's so handsome.
And his trusty sidekick, Jay Wakasey.
Hey, that's me.
Seriously appreciate you spending time with us tonight. Remember, if you like this content, the most flattering thing you can do is like and share.